室。 好的，各位贵宾以及所有的媒体朋友，大家早安，大家好。我们是秀传医疗体系，秀传医疗体系在2025的台湾医疗展呢，精彩的论坛，待会呢稍后即将热烈展开，邀请大家呢可以尽快移动脚步来到我们的舞台区共襄盛举。我们的摊位呢是在 L826，欢迎大家。为了活动品质呢，请各位待会请将手机转为静音模式，谢谢大家的配合。那稍后呢，我们的开幕论坛 pitch 以及座谈会将全程以英文来进行。秀传医疗体系呢，将以巧妙的来结合我们的医疗科技，创造无限可能为主轴来参展。那本次展位呢，设计相当的巧妙，糅合了我们秀传医院在智慧医院以及科技医疗两大方向的飞跃与进步，透过视觉呈现医疗的多样性以及科技无限的广度，展现秀传体系致力于创新医疗的无限能量。开幕论坛主题是 AI Surgical Robotic Global Forum, Taiwan as the co-global hub of AI Surgical Robotic， 并且邀请了业界顶尖专家、学者、主持人以及许多与团人一同来参与，相信大家一定会有非常多的收获。再次邀请现场所有的贵宾一同来到我们的秀传医疗体系 L826， 一同来共襄盛举。待会呢，精彩的活动马上就要开始喽！好，各位现场的贵宾以及所有的媒体朋友以及在座优秀的先进们啊，大家早安！我们是秀传医疗体系，秀传医疗体系2025台湾医疗科技展精彩的论坛即将在5分钟后正式开始。我们邀请现场所有的贵宾都可以来到我们秀传医疗体系 L826， 一同来共襄盛举，邀请大家欢迎各位。
好的，各位现场的贵宾，大家早安！欢迎各位莅临2025台湾医疗科技展台大医院展区。那我们待会呢，预计在11点钟将会进行台大医院展区的开幕仪式。所以在这里，我们要邀请现场与会的长官还有贵宾们，请大家可以往舞台前方的座位区入座。感谢大家，谢谢。
各位现场的贵宾，大家早安，大家好！秀传医疗体系开幕论坛再过倒数时间即将要正式开始了，邀请现场所有的优秀先进都可以移动脚步来到我们秀传医疗体系 L826的摊位现场，一同共襄盛举。再过稍后时间，我们精彩的开幕论坛即将正式展开。那稍后呢，我们的开幕论坛 pitch 以及座谈会 panel discussion 将会全程以英文来进行，感谢大家。好，现场的贵宾以及所有的媒体先进，各位优秀的专家学者，大家早安，大家好！秀传医疗体系开幕论坛再过倒数的时间，马上就要正式展开喽！好，邀请各位现场所有的贵宾有听到声音，都可以移动脚步来到我们的秀传医疗体系 L826的摊位，一起来共襄盛举。稍后再过倒数的时间，我们精彩活动马上就要展开了。
好的，各位现场的贵宾，大家早安！欢迎各位莅临台大医院展区。待会我们马上要来进行今日的开幕仪式，所以我们要邀请在展区内的贵宾，请大家可以往座位区入座。感谢大家，谢谢。
小朋友就是我们刚刚的基本上蔬果部分，所以蔬菜量基本上大家可以看到很多以上。
各位现场的长官、贵宾以及所有优秀的专家学者，大家早安，大家好！非常欢迎大家莅临秀传医疗体系的开幕论坛，我是今天的主持人 Jesslyn 香涵，非常荣幸代表秀传医疗体系来欢迎大家莅临2025台湾医疗科技展。在本次的展览主轴呢，医疗结合科技，创造无限可能。我们将举办一系列高规格的专业演讲以及论坛活动。汇集产官学研各界精英，共同探讨医疗科技的现在与未来，更展示一系列已落地的应用，且具未来性的创新技术，涵盖紧急救护、手术精准度提升、远距服务以及智慧照护等多个面向。此刻开幕论坛的主题是 AI Surgical Robotic Global Forum, Taiwan as the co-global hub of AI Surgical Robotics。我们聚集于最尖端的领域，秀传医疗体系在这次的展览当中，汇集全球投资、AI 技术、顶尖临床验证以及世界级供应链的关键参与者，从产业与资本的视角，探讨台湾医材的市场机会以及供应链整合策略，共同探讨如何将台湾打造成全球手术机器人创新与商业化的核心枢纽。那今天非常荣幸邀请到现场在座许多贵宾一同共襄盛举。接下来容我跟大家一一介绍，也请昌明道的长官贵宾可以来起立挥手致意。首先，让我们来邀请秀传医疗体系陈秀珠营运长，欢迎。接着，让我们来邀请秀传医疗体系黄世维中区总院长，欢迎。接着，让我们来邀请秀传纪念医院马旭院长，欢迎。 紧接着邀请到的是秀传纪念医院的朱佩义副院长，欢迎。接着邀请到是祥生科技吴新贤副总经理，欢迎。接着让我们邀请到资诚联合会计师事务所的严玉芳会计师。 欢迎
好的，各位现场的长官、贵宾，大家早安，大家好，欢迎各位莅临台湾医疗科技展台大医院展区。那我们今天展区的开幕仪式将在1分钟后开始。那我们也再次呢邀请还在展区内的贵宾好友们，请大家可以呢往开幕仪式的现场来移动。我们再过最后1分钟，马上开始。
再次欢迎现场所有与会的贵宾，今天一同共襄盛举。那在我们活动一开始，当然也要邀请本次活动的主办单位代表上台，一同为我们来致欢迎词。首先，让我们来邀请秀传医疗体系陈秀珠营运长上台致辞，掌声欢迎。
我们没有声音啊。 我们在座的贵宾尤其是来自伦敦的，我们第一次见面啊，非常高兴您能够莅临。还有我们在场所有的合作伙伴，我们的工作同仁，那能够在这个时候来莅临我们秀传医疗体系这个展览的所在的，我们都致上最诚挚的欢迎。每一年这个时候都是我们努力能够有机会呈现我们过去1年在医疗科技。 在医疗生医产业，我们所做的一些点点滴滴的努力，当然除了我们希望有机会把它呈现出来，更希望得到各位来指导，给我们一些更好的建议，让我们有更长足的进步。那今天在开幕的第1天，我们很荣幸的能够组织这样的一个国际论坛。那我们希望尤其是在AI 的这个 Robotics Surgical 这方面的努力。 各位知道，在临床的现场，其实每一位外科医师常常面临的是一个生死交关的关键时刻，他必须要在1分1秒的这个关键时刻下做最好的决策。那么我们从传统的手术到微创，到后来有机器手背的辅助，到现在 AI 的介入，我想人机协作的这个可能跟成熟是我们所期待的。 而各位众所周知，我们秀传医疗体系在2008年就成立了亚洲微创手术训练中心。那过去这10几年，我们训练已经超过2万名的国内外的优秀的外科医师。我们也即将去开展我们的微创手术中心的2期的建设。那这都是在宣示我们看好这样的一个领域的发展。我们也愿意再继续承诺。 就像过去10几年，我们黄明和总裁在微创手术这方面所投注的努力跟心血，那尤其在10几年来得到不管是医师、工程师，甚至是产业的优秀有远见的投资人都看见我们了。那我们希望借由这样的平台，把大家集合在一起。我们希望对未来外科手术这方面 ，AI 应该成为外科医师多1双眼、多1只手，甚至是多1个大脑。我想这是可预期的未来。我们希望共同为这个未来美好的未来一起努力。那希望今天这整个论坛非常的顺利成功，大家都能够收获满满。谢谢大家的参与。
谢谢陈院长，谢谢，请回座，谢谢。 好的，那最后呢，紧接着也要邀请到我们的灵魂人物哦，是秀传医疗体系的黄世伟总院长为我们上台致辞，掌声欢迎。
好，那院长、马院长，然后还有长他们了，然后还有我们现场所有的贵宾，所有的研会技师哈，然后还有我们所有的好朋友，那非常高兴又来到了1年1度的医疗科技展，那就像 院长刚刚有提到的，秀传医院一直非常致力在这个医疗新创的这个生态系的建构。好，那我们秀传的做法会希望用更加有利于整个台湾甚至亚洲的生态系的建构上面来出力，所以我们并不会执着于说我们就辅导秀传的新创科技产品，而是我们广纳 各个台湾各地、亚洲各地、世界各地的新创公司来利用秀传的平台，所以我们很认真的建构起我们的临床试验中心人体保护中心，让这个 IRB 做得更好。然后我们微创中心的这个全球的网路就连这个礼拜我们都有将近50-60位将近10几个国家的外科医师在进行神经外科的课程。那上个礼拜是小儿外科的课程。那我们也有核心实验室。那我们甚至还结合创投，连接台湾的供应链、台湾的制造产线。然后所以我们也跟这个比翼合作一个加速器。所以我们一直很致力于连接国内的这些所有的资源，让台湾成为一个更好的一个新创科技发展的基地。那当然是再结合我们秀传体系所有的这些很优秀的医师员工，然后把我们体系的这个资讯架构做得更好。所以我们今天我们资讯营运中心也成立一个资讯中心，来为这个智慧医疗做努力。那我想1年1度的医疗科技展是一个让所有致力于医疗新创这条路上是一个非常漫长的，大家来一个互相取暖的一个时间啦。所以我们觉得这个是一个希望秀传的这个环境是可以让大家来一起互相打气、互相加油。那在这边，我觉得医疗是没有竞争，而是大家共同为病人的这个福祉而努力。所以我们希望在秀传大家可以感受到温暖，然后放松，然后一起为合作创造更多的火花。谢谢。
谢谢黄院长，请回座。哇，真的今天来到非常多的贵宾呢，为了记录这个美好时刻呢，我们邀请呢我们现场所有的贵宾，大家一起拍个大合照，请工作人员帮我们来递上手举牌，也请到我们左边、右边的贵宾可以往中间来做移动，来做集合。好，我们这边靠紧一点点，大家都难得来了。是的，后面的贵宾也可以往前一步哦，自己找一下角度。对，有拿手举牌的，我们的 Onyx 也带着自己的手举牌哦，真的很赞。也谢谢待会的一个分享。好，我们看一下前方镜头，待会我们拍个2张先一个帅气的、正式的，好吗？好，看一下前方镜头，来3、2、1。好的，再一张 ，Stop up please。哇，希望我们这一次的医疗展呢，可以跟大家分享我们创新的医疗科技。好，这边在一台哦，来看一下前方镜头 ，3、2、1。好的，感谢大家，也谢谢各位现场所有贵宾的莅临。好，那紧接着我们就要来进行到我们今天重要的一个开幕论坛了。We will anchor our discussion using Moon Surgical and its revolutionary Maestro System as our core case study. A company that currently stands out as the most brilliant and pioneering startup in the surgical robotic landscape. Now, with our warmest applause, let's welcome the speaker for our first section, the founding partner of Pachamama, Ms. Pamela Xie. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Xie to the stage. Welcome. Applause, please.
Hi, everyone. It's a great honor to be here to represent Pachamama Capital and to show a case study of Moon Surgical. My name is Pamela. I'm the founding partner of Pachamama Capital. Pachamama Capital is a secondaries fund. We provide liquidity solutions. That is to buy shares from founders, early employees, and angel investors of unicorn companies in AI and deep tech. By doing that, we invest in the unicorn companies backed by top-tier VCs such as or investors such as Sequoia and NVIDIA. And why are we here? So driven by longevity, quality of life, and also labor shortage, we see that worldwide the hospitals are going through a lot of pressure and the constraints in providing better health care to our patients. And we also see that people are demanding better quality of surgeries, such as minimally invasive surgeries, which generally provide better after surgery recovery time. So we see that it's expanding faster than operating rooms capacity. This is also driven by a tailwind, which is the development of robotics and AI. I think NVIDIA plays a really pivotal role in this area. And Moon Surgical is actually a great example to combine robotics and AI and to provide a scalable, adoption-friendly surgical robotics solution. So as I mentioned earlier, hospitals worldwide are really going through a lot of pressures. We saw in Taiwan, like earlier this year, there was a lot of complaints about the capacity in A&E. Same as in Korea, there was a news just, I think, last month. I live in London. In London, like NHS is also under a lot of pressure. This is not new, right? Has been, I think, tens of years since I arrived there. In order to get a surgery done or just a normal scan done, you have to go to the general practitioner and wait for weeks before you could get a scan. And recently, there are also a lot of junior doctors or surgeons. They do protests actually outside of the hospitals because of the unreasonable workload that they are going through. In the US, recently, government also introduced a budget cut in Medicare and Medicaid in the healthcare system. That actually resulted in the decrease in reimbursement and also staff burnout. Because of the lower budget, the hospitals are asking each staff to take more responsibility, and it's just out of their capacity and like reasonable workload. A lot of hospitals, especially the ones in the rural areas, they are operating in red line, which means they are actually losing money by operating hospitals. They are facing a really a tough situation that they might be closing their hospitals very soon. All in all, sorry, I think this is not working. Okay, yeah. All in all, what happened to the patients is they don't get the actually treatments or the care they need. They don't have access to doctors, and their surgery procedures are delayed to months or sometimes even years. And we also saw a lot of procedures, they were planned, but they got canceled on the same day. Sorry, this is not working. Okay. And the industry leaders, they are all trying to coming up a solution. So 50% of the hospital executives said greater efficiency without sacrificing safety was their #1 need. And their solution is to shift procedures to outpatient centers outside of the hospital. So ambulatory surgery centers are healthcare facilities that provide outpatient surgeries and also diagnostic procedures for the patients without the need of overnight hospital stay. These surgeries or procedures are more complex than what can be done in a doctor's office, but less intensive than what needs to be done in the hospitals. So today we see that ASC or ambulatory surgery centers, the market represents $45 billion US dollars, and it's growing really fast at 20% year on year to hit $55 billion by 2029. And for the cost savings, it reduced the procedure cost by 40 to 60% compared to even the hospital's outpatient departments. That results in both the hospitals and the patients, they are demanding for the procedures to be done in these ASCs instead of to be done in the hospitals. So we see there is a really like increased demand and also popularity for patients to opt for ASCs. These ASCs, they are run by physicians who are business owners themselves or by large private equity groups. They are demanding for equipment fitting smaller operating rooms than hospitals. And also they are running in like very tight operating budgets for like large, especially large private equity funds, having a positive profitability and a margin is really their top goal. So Moon Surgical is actually the answer for ASCs. Moon Surgical has low footprint and just one bedside cart compared to other surgical robotics we have seen in the market. It has 2 arms designed to be just fit into the existing operating rooms without a big change in their workflow, and also to change the room setup. And for economics-wise, it's also a much more flexible and affordable solution than other robotics platform. It allows the surgeons to use existing laparoscopic instruments, and also on average there could be 1 staff less in operating rooms. Again, just having having 1 less staff is critical to drive up the P&L. Also, it has a very short learning curve for the surgeons and the staff. Surgeons, they could be running on robotics on Moon Surgical and getting autonomous after just 1 hour's training on site. Yeah, it's a very quick for the surgeons to adapt to Moon Surgical. So this is a comparison between Da Vinci and the Maestro, Moon Surgical's Maestro system. You could see that in terms of footprint, it's 6 times smaller than Da Vinci, so which is perfect for ASCs, which are normally smaller than hospitals. In terms of weight, it's also much lighter. It can be actually carried around the different operating rooms. So it's portable and it's very flexible for ASC. Turnover time, so setup time is also really quick, so 5 to 7 minutes compared to Da Vinci. Again, just to echo what I mentioned earlier, it only requires 1 to 2 staff members compared to specialized staff required by Da Vinci. This is really like developed to use for high volume laparoscopy surgeries, such as for gallbladder removal or like weight loss surgeries, which are very popular to be done in ASCs. So this is a demo of how surgeons use Moon Surgical in life. The visual field remains exactly where the surgeons need it. And also surgeons, they could maintain really precise control of workspace and the tissue positioning with hand-free retraction. And by removing visualization and also retraction from surgeons, they could really focus on their instruments and also their technique, and to provide a better results and experience for patients. And so far, we have seen a significant result contributed by the success of Moon Surgical. It's very precise, and also it provides certainty to ASC or surgeons. Because of that, it drives up the margin. On average, it reduces 6% procedure duration. And also, it's quite interesting and important. It also reduces the duration variability. So if ASCs or surgeons, they can't predict how long the procedures will take, they naturally have to leave more gap between different procedures. And based on the stats or research, we know that on average, 2 hours out of a 10-hour operative day is wasted because they need to leave enough gap. So by having more certainty on how long the surgeries will take, it could help surgeons and also ASCs to plan the procedures better and the workflow better. On average, it adds 0.8, almost 1 procedure per operative day, and we see that this figure will significantly grow in the next 6 months. We also see a very strong utilization and attractions by Moon Surgical. They received FDA and CE approval in 2024, and so far they have done in like more than 2,000 procedures. This is the breakdown of the procedures, the indications which has been done. So some surgeons, they are very entrepreneurial and experimental, so they have used Moon Surgical in more than 60 indications. And also they have a very strong pipelines. They have been speaking to the largest ASC groups. Together, there is more than 1,000 centers that they are speaking to with a very progressive status and the pipeline. Moon Surgical is led by a very strong leadership team. So the chairman of the board is Fred Moore, who is also the founder of Intuitive Surgical, the inventor of Da Vinci. And it's led by CEO, who is a partner of Sofinova, one of the longest established venture capital fund in Europe, specializing in life science and healthcare. They have like 4 billion asset under management. And other leadership teams, they are all from the same industries. So for example, Jonathan, the CMO, and also the sales and the chief commercial officer, Eric, they are all from Intuitive Surgical. And Anna and Dave, Jeff, Chief Strategy Officer, they used to work in Auris Health together, which got sold to Johnson & Johnson in 2019. So they definitely know the playbook of scaling up the surgical robotics. And then their ambition doesn't stop here. They are building ScoPilot together with NVIDIA very closely. So we already know they provide AI-powered laparoscope guidance, and also it automates camera tracking for surgeons. The goal is to bring physical AI to build an autonomous operating room. So the ScoPilot could perceive what's happening around the operating room environment, and it could reason with NVIDIA's IGX platform. The actions can be made automatically using robotics and also commands. So this is their roadmap. Now ScoPilot is already live. They are also creating a operating room workflow intelligence. That is to understand what's happening during a procedure and around the staff and the surgeons. When they detect something is not according to plan, they would be able to send out the notifications to the system and also automate the workflow accordingly. They are also developing the personalized autonomous control. That is for the setup to be done automatically based on the surgeon's historical practices. And why is there an opportunity for Taiwan? We are excellent in semiconductors, AI hardware, and the precision manufacture. Also, our hospitals are with strong, minimally invasive surgery adoption. And we are also under a lot of staffing pressure, which is a perfect place for clinical trial. We also have IRCAD Taiwan, which is a great environment for validating and scaling surgical robotics. And also there is a lot of strategic opportunities to co-creation between investors who are also industry leaders and also hospitals in the sector. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pamela Shea, for the incredibly insightful presentation. Please take a seat. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we now proceed to expert panel discussion. The highlights are the nexus of innovation, capital, clinical excellence, and world-class supply chain. Our discussion will focus on how to optimize the time to market, spanning from AI model training to high complexity production, and achieving global regulatory readiness. The panel is structured around 3 critical themes, essential to our goal to establish Taiwan as the surgical robotic hub. Theme 1, AI-driven new surgical paradigms. Global trends focusing on the Moon surgical case study. Theme 2, the Taiwan supply chain. Strategy for accelerating the globalization of surgical robotic startups. Theme 3, the accelerated law of AI and clinical validation. The pivotal role of IRCAD Taiwan. And now let's welcome our esteemed moderator for today's discussion. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to Mr. Partner Yan. Welcome. At PwC Taiwan, welcome, Mr. Yan. And now let's invite the rest of our distinguished panelists to the stage to join us. The first one, let's welcome Wen Hong, Chief Central Superintendent, Shouchuan Healthcare System. Zhang Zhuang, President of Onyx Healthcare Incorporated. Ken Liao, Solution Architect, Healthcare, NVIDIA. Welcome. Pamela Xie, Founding Partner of Pachamama Capital. Welcome. Without further ado, we now hand over the floor to our moderator, Mr. Yan. The stage is yours.
Hi. Hi everyone. I'm Yufang Yan Yufang. I'm the PwC. I'm in charge of the healthcare startup and the international collaboration in PwC Taiwan. Welcome to today's forum. I think the repeat evaluation of AI. AI is refining the surgical precision. So we grouping the 4 committees today. One is for the global investment, Pachamama, Pamela. And another one is technology for the NVIDIA Ken. And the third one is the clinical validation for IRCAD Wen. And the manufacturing expertise on Onyx Healthcare. Yeah, John. So we start for the AI-driven surgical robot. So I would like to ask Ken from NVIDIA first about the Moon surgical. Use the AI to argument rather than replace surgeon, and NVIDIA from NVIDIA technical perspective, what are the most significant workflow change AI enable inside the operating room? Yes, thank you.
Hi. Okay, so for AI-enabled operating rooms, we have new workflows, such as we make it easier for the surgeons to be able to operate on the patients, such as from the presentation you just saw from Pamela. Moon Surgical has adapted Scope Pilot, which can track the surgeon's tools, so it'll be automated, so that the surgeons do not have to move the cameras by themselves. Now there's going to be more workflows that are augmented by AI in the future. There's going to be Omniverse, which is our platform for simulating these operating rooms. These will help with first simulating the situation so that we don't run into any unexpected situations for the robots, and they can also serve as extra training data for training these physical AI robots.
Thanks, Ken. And next, I would like to ask one from your clinical observation, which the surgical pain points are best addressed by AI-assisted platform like Moon Surgical, and why Taiwan is a clinical environment uniquely suitable for the AI-driven workflow? Thanks.
Well, first, I think the robotic trend is only at the beginning. Even though we have like almost 100 Da Vinci's in Taiwan, it only accounts for about 10% of the operations now that potentially could be operated by robots. So I think there's still a lot of room for robotic surgery to grow, and I don't think it's going to be every room is going to be a Da Vinci or Da Vinci-like product. I think a lighter version of the intuitive could be sufficient. You know, we usually you use an intuitive surgical to operation like hernia, gallbladder. It's like an overkill, and also it needs to be very efficient, very quick. So if a big machine like in Da Vinci could potentially slow down the operation. So I think something that could really reduce the time and be lighter has a market. So I think that's a Moon Surgical come in, and I think that's why Fred Moore is interested. And I think, and you mentioned the AI, because the AI needs a physical thing to apply its magic. So physical AI is going to be the future, and so that's why you know. Workflow enhancements, the object identification, structure identification, you know, those are really trying to minimize surgeon variability to have a better standardized quality amongst different surgeons. So I think we need to popularize the operating room with robots, but I don't think it's going to be every room with a huge robot. It's going to be lighter versions, and then either one arm, two arm, hanging from the ceiling, from the ground. I don't know, but those are, I think, the future. And Taiwan, you know, is very a tech-savvy environment. Every doctor wants to try something new technology. So you know, Da Vinci just announced a new robot in Taiwan, SP, and it was I think it sold so well, perhaps the fastest rate in the world, without knowing that it's better or not. So I think that's why Taiwan is a good place to try a new technology.
Thanks, Wayne. Next, I would like to ask John about with the AI increasingly integrate into surgical robotics. What the new challenge arise in hardware architecture, model design, and the system integration?
Thank you. So just to give everybody a little bit of background, so Onyx Healthcare, we provide medical device contract manufacturing service behind the scene for all the medical devices around the world. So from this regard, I think we're definitely observing the trend of AI being quickly adopted to all the different kind of medical devices, especially surgical devices. So I would say that one of the challenges that we're seeing is that there's a lot of focus on in terms of the AI program. So AI program in terms of having more TOPS and more AI inferencing capability. So naturally the next challenging thing becomes power consumption and heat dissipation. Because everybody always likes to have more powerful NVIDIA if possible, and we understand that. But however, I think in our 15 years of experience servicing medical industry, medical technology going into a medical kind of medical environment is not as simple as just technology. So so for example, like you can run all the AI, all AI operation simulation with a very powerful server, but you can't put that server into the OR theater. So like one of the major challenges. So for example, like this is what Moon Surgical is doing is very cutting edge, and also they actually changed the footprint because like I think footprint has always been a very challenging part for medical device to make it more affordable, more portable, and because it's already very crowded in the OR surgical suite. So the footprint is very important. So in order to do that, I think the most challenging part is about power consumption and also heat dissipation. How do we still incorporate all those horsepower from NVIDIA technology, but yet at the same time make it like small, compact enough, and also doesn't impact other medical device in the surgical space.
Thanks, John. And next, I would like to ask Pamela. Moon Surgical has attracted global leading of investor, and from investment perspective, what new market model does it represent to the surgical robotics, especially in scalability and global adoption?
Yeah. So as we touched on earlier, Moon Surgical actually is a new category creation, right? They are not competing with other incumbents who are more focused on larger robotics. They are actually focused on an area which is fast growing, which is the ASC market. So they intentionally make it really compact, affordable, and also flexible to be carried around the different operating rooms. We don't see other surgical robotics playing in the same area as Moon Surgical today. So they really have a lot of potential. And not just in the US, I believe in some emerging markets which are not which couldn't afford a lot of intuitive surgical or Da Vinci. It's also playing a very interesting and important market for Moon.
Thanks. After AI-driven surgical robotic, let's explore Taiwan's supply chain. So let's go back to Ken. An AI surgical robot really heavily on edge computing, sensor fusion, and imaging inference. Which capability within Taiwan's supply chains are most valuable in supporting AI-powered surgical robotics?
So NVIDIA has many partners in Taiwan, including Onyx here, which does these edge inferences. We also provide, previously it was the Jetson IGX, and also we also have the Jetson AGX, which also has a RTX 6000 card in there. We now have the Jetson Thor, which is a more powerful version of our Jetson, which can provide 4K inference. So these are all new products from NVIDIA, and these are all suitable for Taiwan's supply chain to play around with as well. We also have a startup program, the Inception program, which can help these supply chains to build up their startups as well. So yeah.
Thanks, Ken, and go back to Wen. And when international startups come to Taiwan to build prototypes, what hardware requirement related to clinical usability and safety does IRCAD most frequently observed?
Yeah, thanks. So I think as you heard, NVIDIA and Onyx here, they are excellent partners to help with the early discussion of the prototyping. Because when you are already, design freeze and submitting to FDA, and then you find a design flaw, then I think it's already a lot of money wasted. And so you really need to, have as many surgeons from different backgrounds to test your product, or user, not necessarily surgeons if it's not a surgery product. You need a lot of users to use it, try it, and have a lot of input from many different people with different habits, backgrounds, countries as possible. So I think IRCAD is the ideal playground for surgeons to test a prototype, and then you can change your design to different iterations, and then decide on the final design with discussions from the partners that can help you in the future. So I think I've talked to many people who are designing something AI, and they're so happy that they can get in contact with John because I think that's with the capability and their distribution channel, they really know how to best design the product. So combining the surgeon backgrounds that's available in IRCAD and also the manufacturing in Taiwan, including Onyx, I think those are the strengths of Taiwan.
Thanks, Wayne. And move to John. And surgical robotic startup often require a small batch and a high complexity production. How does Taiwan supply chains address this challenge? Faster and more flexibility. Are these cases show any why Taiwan is ideal for AI robotic startup?
First of all, I think because right now with the AI technology, it does originate from a lot of ICT industry. So I think Taiwan is a very, I think it goes without saying, it's a very easy base to find high tech. And then also, I think the kind of the supplier base in Taiwan, they're all very good at customizing different type of computing or AI technology. So for when you build up your AI solution in Taiwan, your AI device solution in Taiwan, you actually have a lot of option. And especially into surgical robotics, there is a lot of customization on the computing side. And then I think the benefit, that's where also Onyx is a little bit unique in our industry because we're only focused on medical, which differentiates us from other just simply computer manufacturer. Whereas we understand for a lot of surgical arm, like you do need to have specialized embedded computing solution in there, as well as like the AI embedded edge AI server in there, leveraging, for example, the latest Thor platform technology. So those are the technology that you can easily find in Taiwan. And then because Taiwan is so good at manufacturing, very good at manufacturing. But I think in the recent years, we evolved from just manufacturing for everything. We're starting having more silos about focus on medical and actually establishing expertise around manufacturing in medical. And on top of that, we do have resources and also additional supply chain base from worldwide. And then also establishing AI device solution in Taiwan makes it easy to go global because you're not trapped in the States, you're not trapped in Europe, or you're not trapped in Asia. So Taiwan is definitely a very good central spot to support global market. Thank you.
Thanks, John. And move to Pamela. In investment evaluation, how important are supply chain stability and manufacturing scalability? And what advantage does Taiwan provide in this area?
Yeah, so I think Taiwan is really critical in this, the supply chain stability. Supply chain is very important when we evaluate investment opportunities, especially in hardware, such as robotics and the medtech sectors. We see some robotics company who have suppliers or partners from different countries. So that is actually one of the pain points when we discuss with the founders. So for example, they might have some equipment or some parts from Italy, some from Japan, some from Korea. This actually creates more like friction in terms of compatibility, and also it creates more risk when they wanted to consolidate the supply chain. We spoke to a few including Moon Surgical and other robotics unicorn founders back in the US. They are trying to move the supply chain to a one center, like the request is they want to find one place which can help them in many different areas. And I think Taiwan is that place for them. So we have, like John and Wayne and also Ken mentioned, we have different sectors who used to be ICT and they are now shifting to medical equipment. They are very, one more advantage is we are very entrepreneurial. So we are willing to work with even earlier founders to create their prototype and see how both parties can grow together. I think it's a very hard traits to be found in suppliers in other countries. And once they are grown to a specific like a scale, the next stage is to lower the unit cost. It's also a pain point that we saw in, for example, one robotics company in the US. Their unit cost was so high that they have to sell at a very high price to end customers, and it's going to be very hard for them to scale because of that. And we start from prototyping, we grow with the clients, and then once it's time to scale, we could also do mass manufacturing to help them lower down the unit cost. So yeah, I think we are really best suited in the global markets for this area.
Thanks, Pamela. Finally, let's talk about how AI accelerates clinical validation. Let's have Ken share his thought first. AI model training requires large amount of real-world data, surgical data. From NVIDIA's perspective, how valuable is Taiwan's clinical environment for AI model training and validation?
So everyone knows that AI training, AI validation, every one of these require a lot of data. And surgical data is especially valuable since it's very hard to get. You can't just randomly go into the operating room and just say, oh, let's take this data. And there's all these issues with privacy as well. So training data here in Taiwan is very valuable to us, and especially with like IRCAD training systems. They have their whole training facilities for training the surgeons. These will be valuable data because you will need these actual data in order to even perform synthetic data generation as well. So you want to have some of these initial data before you can do synthetic data generation with our, let's say, Cosmos model as well. Furthermore, with the data that you obtain from these simulated environments, you can then train these surgical robots for the task that you want after. Yeah.
Thanks, Ken. For your case view, I like to ask why. For Taiwan to become an international hub for AI surgical robotics, which capability or environment must be strengthened on clinical side? What key role will IRCAD Taiwan play in this ecosystem?
I think Asia is really a virgin market for robotics, and that is why there's about maybe 15 competitors to Intuitive. Now if they want to enter US, where the market is already saturated with Intuitive, every hospital has 5, 10, 15 Da Vinci's. It's hard to sell a different brand. We see that in Taiwan. We already have like 90, 100 Intuitive, and there's like two other brands trying to enter Taiwan. For 2 years, they are having a hard time sell any robots. But in Asia, there's I think all the new brands, a lot of from China, from Japan, Korea, India. So these are Asian robots. So naturally, Asia is a big potential growth place for these companies to grow big and then trying to improve and then enter other markets. So in IRCAD Asia and IRCAD Taiwan, we have a lot of experience in training, education, and research in surgery and minimally invasive surgery. So We have already been talking to many of these companies, and they are already very excited to become our partner as their training ground and testing ground for the Asian market, and so they can leverage our network and to let surgeons from Asian countries to get to know and test their products. So it's going to be a win-win situation for the company and the market surgeons. So we can have a more balanced market. You know, a monopoly is not good for anyone. So I think even Intuitive is waiting for a good competitor to you know to grow together to make the market bigger.
Thanks, Wen. Let's move to John. Taiwan's supply chain can rapidly transition prototype into clinical-ready device. Can you share an example about its advantage in speed, quality, and regulatory readiness?
I think from several perspectives. Like first of all, I think rapid prototyping is something that Taiwan is very good at. And especially in the recent year, I think with our experience at Onyx Healthcare, servicing medical device company, like I think we're initially the first time when we engaged medical device and transition into prototyping, it took a while to learn because it's more than just technology. You actually need to learn about the domain knowledge and also the certification and also the use environment. But then, you know, as of this point, it's actually becoming more rapid, and more and more medical device around the globe are actually outsourcing their medical device contract manufacturing portion. So I think we're getting more and more data around that part. And then, so from that perspective, I think the advantage is that we have that collective knowledge of different type of surgical and different medical device in different application. And I think over the years from between 2012 to 2019 or 2020, I think we definitely see a major transition of medical device building more intelligence into it, especially during COVID when AI started booming. Like now the demand is to build more AI technology into it. So given the rapid prototyping capability we have built up before 2020, and also the AI design capability that we have built up with NVIDIA over the past 5 years, like we were definitely in a very good strategic position to help bring the medical device company to faster launch into the market. Especially in addition to that, because of our collective experiences on certification process. So in our experience now, most of the medical device customer we service, from their initial design to product launch, we're usually able to improve their timeline from 6 to even 8 months, be earlier than the standard, than the regular launch time in comparison to the rest of the market. And that's where Taiwan can provide competitive advantage to the medical device company that's outsourcing contract manufacturing to Taiwan.
Thanks, John. And move to Pamela. Speed of the clinical validation often drives the investment decision. Based on your experience, can Taiwan clinical ecosystem and IRCAD shorten time to markets for startup? How critical it for your invest?
Yeah, so we, as I mentioned, we specialize in AI and deep tech companies, and in Europe we have spoken to many technical founders who are specializing in their areas, very product driven. And the one thing I always share with them is you have to find a design partner instead of creating something from scratch on your own. You have to find who your clients are, who are you designing this product for, and go to them and tell them, hey, I have a solution for you. Would you like to work on this with me? And really work with them on testing your product and get the learning and reiterate. That's very, very critical for technical founders. Clinical trial for healthcare products are essential. It's the same as what I mentioned earlier. Without the clinical trials, you don't know if it's going to work. And showing some success step by step. It's very important for investors. Yeah, so I think in Taiwan, after I visited the IRCAD last time, I really see a lot of energy there. So not just the students, right, but the surgeons, but also the lecturers who flew in from worldwide, different countries. I saw people from Germany, from Italy, from Belgium, from Japan, Vietnam, Indonesia, right? It's phenomenal to see all of them gathering in IRCAD and try to educate surgeons and also bringing new technology to their own countries. I believe, yeah, IRCAD plays a very pivotal role in helping Taiwan in this area.
Thanks everyone. I think with AI capability and the clinical validation stretch and the worldwide world-class supply chain, Taiwan can speed up the global expansion for the AI for surgical robotics startup. That concludes the forum today. Thank you everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right? Your QA.
If anyone yeah, sure. If anyone have the question, please don't be hesitant to raise your hand and ask the experts on the stage. Anyone? Okay. Okay. The massive thank you to all our distinguished. Oh yeah. Sorry. Please.
Thank you for all your presentation. I have a question to Ken. Can you predict or can you estimate how fast will the AI can guide one of the operative procedures? Because you know that you need, there's lots of surgical data you collect, and you need to annotate them and tell the machine the gallbladder is the gallbladder, the vessel is the vessel, right? So I think it will. Okay. So I think it is very critical for the surgeons and for the patients. They know that all the AI-guided robotics will be into the real world. So in your expertise, can you predict or estimate how long will this product will to the real world? How many years, or maybe 5 years, or 5 months? Just a guess.
It's hard to say because it's not whether we develop the system or not. There's also all the certifications that we need to go through from FDA, CE. Taiwan has TFDA. So it depends on all that stage as well. But we're seeing an accelerated growth in AI in medical products. Even Taiwan and US both have these laws, or they have these plans to accelerate AI into the medical device products. So I can't say for sure a certain amount of time, but we are seeing an accelerated growth in AI in medical medtech. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone has questions? No? Oh, okay, please.
Thank you. Thanks very much for your presentation today. I'm going to take it just a little bit outside of the surgical robots. And what are you starting to see from an age tech perspective for robots inside the home? Are there any trends that are starting, or has this begun yet?
I guess to clarify the question, are you talking about like having like a robotics assistant at home?
Yeah.
Are you more talking about like the long-term care setting?
Long-term care.
Home care setting.
Robots like the Tesla's Optimus, for instance. How do you see those being integrated into the community?
In terms of, I guess, in terms of what we currently from Onyx Healthcare, like we do also have clients that's also like providing technology in this field. So some of the application use that we have seen, for example, in the long-term care, because right now there's talking about United States itself, they have a huge shortage on this care staff. So in terms of extended care coordination, so they are starting to come up with like telesitting, so-called telesitting. So using AI robotics, like not the robotics arm, but it's in a different format of robotics to actually to assist with the care coordination, and also to provide monitoring with the patient. And then also, and then we're also seeing another trend of remote patient monitoring AI in terms of providing more real-time patient care, like patient-side care. But however, like I think one of the majority of the challenges for that is who is paying for that. So I mean the technology is great, and I think we did observe over the past 5 years it's becoming mature. But however, in terms of the payer structure, I don't think they have quite figured out yet who's going to pay for that. So it's a very nice to have feature, and it's actually being all the proof of concept has already been done. It's being very well established. So I think that's where we are right now.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone has question? No? Okay, many thank you to all our panelists on the stage. Applause please to them. And before they leave, please remain on the stage. Please remain on the stage and take the photo together. And get closer. And look at the camera in the middle. The first one, with your smile. 3, 2, 1. And one more. Thumb up, please. Thank you. Okay, and one more. 3, 2, 1. Okay, once again, okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay, once again, our profound gratitude to our esteemed moderator, Mr. Yan, and all the guest speakers. You may now kindly return your seat. Thank you. Applause, please, to them. Thank you. With that, our morning section formally concludes. Thank you to participating. Refreshments are now available at the catering area, and we warmly invite all our guests to enjoy the tea break. Please note that the afternoon forum will commence promptly at 1 p.m. 好，那上午的议程呢到此告一段落了。我们现场准备了茶点，欢迎各位贵宾都可以前往享用。那下午的论坛呢将在1点的时候准时开始。那期间欢迎大家前往展区参观哦，并完成挑战集点活动。哇，这个很多人在等待哦。完成集点呢就可以来兑换精美的礼品，每天都数量有限哦。怎么参加呢？很简单。好，我们待会邀请现场所有的贵宾可以先来到我们的柜台处。 柜台处在我们的后方，好，工作人员有在挥手，在我们秀传医疗体系的一个招牌的底下，好，找到工作人员来先扫一下 QR code 就可以获得第1点。获得第1点之后呢，就可以来体验我们整个展区，总共有6大摊位哦，包含有超音波精准心肺复苏、EMS 医联速通，好，以及我们手术影像整合系统，还有立体内视镜的影像系统、手术缝合训练以及智慧赋能关怀。 永续，那大家集好了7点之后，再协助我们来完成填写我们的活动回馈问卷，再回到我们的柜台，带着你的点数7点，还有你填好的问卷，就可以来兑换我们的精美礼物啦。好，那我们的兑换时间呢？今天是到我们的下午的5点钟，所以邀请现场所有的贵宾都可以来到我们活动现场，一起来共襄盛举，留时间给大家把握机会了。 In the meantime, we strongly encourage you to visit the exhibition hall and participate in our step collection challenge. Upon completion, you can redeem an exclusive gift. Since daily quantity are limited, please seize this opportunity to participate. We look forward to seeing you all back here at 1 p.m. Thank you and enjoy the break.